Welcome back, everybody. This is Mike Drop Sports. I'm Jason. Let's talk Steelers. I hope you all enjoyed your holiday, Thanksgiving yesterday. I hope you ate a lot of food, enjoyed time with friends and family, and just had a general great day. All right, let's dive back into the Steelers now that we had our little break yesterday, and let's talk about Sunday. This is Bengals week. This is an important matchup for the Steelers as they try to get to 7-4, and this game here means a lot. In terms of confidence, in terms of getting some momentum started, in terms of the division race, just so many things ride on this football game. And if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, there's some things you need to do on offense in order to get going, in order to get Kenny's confidence going, in order to get this offense moving, especially now that it's under new direction with the firing of Matt Canada. Matt Canada really was leaning into Kenny Pickett a little bit. I feel like he knew what was working, the run game, but yet he knew that Kenny Pickett needed to light up the scoreboard in order for them both to be successful and in order for them to both carry on as the Steelers' front two on offense, coordinator, quarterback combo. I think Matt Canada really knew that he needed Kenny Pickett to kind of light it up and really start to grow and start to progress. And that blew up in Matt Canada's face, if you ask me. I feel like he was trying to force Kenny into being not like himself. I think he was trying to force him into being a quarterback that he isn't meant to be. And if you're the Steelers, I think you need to get back to what Kenny Pickett does best, and that is manage a football game. And there's nothing wrong with being a game manager. Most of the greats are game managers. Yes, they can make big throws when they have to, and that's part of it too. But most of the greats are game managers, guys that get in there and manage football games and figure out ways to win and keep their football team in games. And that's just what needs to happen. And if you're the Steelers on offense, you're led now by Faulkner. Guys seem to really like Eddie Faulkner. When I listened to his press conference yesterday, his little gathering with the media yesterday, I got to say, I'm impressed with that man, and it's not because I feel like he's like ultra intelligent or anything like that. I think he is intelligent, but I got that vibe from him of a real dude, a real guy, a guy that isn't going to shoot you bullshit, that's always going to tell you how it is straight. He's never going to lie. He's never going to sugarcoat things. And I really like that from Eddie Faulkner. And I think that's going to demand a lot of respect in that locker room. When you have a guy like Eddie that's going to stand in front of you, and he's going to tell you, hey, this is what it is. And there is no guessing with it. I think that really has a lot of weight inside a locker room. And then you talk to Mike Sullivan and Eddie Faulkner, you put them together. I think that's a good combo. Because I think that takes a little bit of pressure off of Mike Sullivan also. Because he's not the one coming up with the game plans, really, if it's all working the way that we think it's working. That's more like Eddie's going to have the final say with it, and Mike's going to go ahead and he's going to execute that. And I think that takes a little bit of pressure off. You're not kind of doing your thing, like Matt Canada, singularly focused on his thing. And I think now, with the insertion of Eddie Faulkner, especially as him as the de facto offensive coordinator, especially during the week, that gives the Steelers something to where I think that Eddie likes to work with everybody. I think that he is going to include everybody, and he said as much. That he is going to use all the talents that he has in that room, all the talents inside that building, from everybody, and take a little bit from everybody, and put them together and hopefully get something to work. And like everybody's been saying, guys, in that locker room, you can't change it all. You're not getting a new offense. You're not getting a whole new system. It's too late in the year. You're heading toward your 11th football game of the season in week 12 of the NFL. There is no way possible that you could put in any type of new system. But what you can do is change a little bit up. You can change up the way you run things, change up the motions, change up the protections, change up the formations. And I think that that's exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do. And if I were them, and it were me calling the plays and really trying to get this offense back on track, it would be short to intermediate throws for Kenny Pickett that take under 2 seconds to get out of there, 2.5 seconds max, and really fire the football quickly. Let him get some confidence, make some high percentage throws, utilize the talent you have at receiver, at tight end, in the running back room, and really allow Kenny to build that confidence. And when you're getting the ball out of there quick and Kenny Pickett isn't getting harassed, isn't getting chased down, I think you're going to build that offensive line's confidence also in terms of the pass game. Because pass protection, I feel, is their weakest point, especially Mason Cole. I think he's the weakest link on this offensive line at center. And that's a bad spot to be in. Considering what the Steelers have had over the years, Dermonte Dawson, Webster, and Pouncey, and just so many big names at the center spot for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think that they've had such stability there, it's really hard for them to function without a quality center. It's really out of their comfort zone to function without a guy that's an all-pro, a Hall of Fame type guy at center. I think it's something that really bothers them organizationally. And hopefully the Steelers are able to iron that out eventually. I always keep saying to slide James Daniels back to center and allow him to see what he can do and see if that helps out. You have some other guys on, insert them back in the lineup. If it's even Chooks, do a little bit more shuffling, and I think you might find the right combination. But you're riding with what you're riding with right now. You have Mason Cole at center. You have Broderick Jones at the right tackle. Dan Moore at the left tackle, who got ate up by Myles Garrett last week. And I think this offensive line is going to come out and looking for a redemption game. And I think they're really going to play solid. But if you're the Steelers, you can't abandon what Matt Canada abandoned in that Cleveland game, if you ask me. Jalen Warren only touching that ball 9 times on the ground last week was a travesty. And I think that that's what got him fired overall. I think that was the final nail in the coffin for Matt Canada. When you see Jalen Warren that's able to be effective throughout that football game in his limited amount of touches, and then you're just going away from him. At least in the third quarter, I felt like they really went away from him. Especially after he scored that touchdown, I feel like he was just like non-existent for a while in that football game. And that can't happen. Like a guy that's hot, you got to ride him. And I don't think Eddie Faulkner and Mike Sullivan are going to go away from that kind of stuff. If they got a guy that's hot, they're going to utilize it. And they don't care about the numbers. They don't care about who's getting what, who's getting touches, whatever. They just care about what's working and getting this football team back on track and getting this offense out of the muddy water that it's in. So, guys, let's just say this. If you're the Steelers and you're going into Sunday, that's got to be your focus. Short to intermediate passes. Come out in some heavier packages. Quit coming out 4 or 5 wide. Don't do any of that craziness right off the bat. Come out in some heavy packages and hit the Cincinnati Bengals in the mouth. Because you can still run excellent pass plays out of jumbo packages if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. Utilize that tight end room. You have a massive weapon in that tight end room when they're all combined. That is a big-time weapon, and you're not utilizing it. Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Connor Hayward, Washington, Williams, you got some big guys in there. Utilize them. Come out in 2-3 tight end sets. Utilize not Najee Harris, but Jalen Warren in that set with them. Because what can you do in that set? And I know it sounds simplistic. You can run them tight ends out on some pass plays and use them as kind of like decoys in the middle. And slide a slightly smaller little wrecking ball like Jalen Warren out on a big play action and have him come and drag underneath those tight ends as they try to secure that middle. And what happens if Kenny does that and just dumps a little screen or just dump pass to Jalen Warren? You already got big guys down the field, ready to block, ready to go. Maybe that sets up some big yards after catch. Just one of my ideas. I'm just throwing ideas out there. And then what do you do if you can utilize those tight end groupings with 2-3 tight ends and use those all? Drag route all of them around away from the play and dump to the other side. Do some different things. Mix some things up that we haven't seen. Utilize the draw out of it. Go to the play action out of it. Just do some different things. Please, that's what I'm asking. Do something different. Don't come out in that same vanilla set that you're always coming out of, running straight ahead, no big time motions, nothing, no guesswork for the defense. There's no guesswork if you're the defense and you're facing a Pittsburgh Steelers offense. When I can sit here as a guy that isn't some football wizard, and I can identify what you're going to do, and I'm not in the NFL, never been at the NFL level, never played football at an extremely high level like this, dude, and I can tell what you're doing, there's a problem. There's a real problem, and I'm sure a lot of you out there can identify what they're going to do 95% of the time also. Every once in a while, they'll throw one in there that'll shock you. But again, we're talking about the Steelers this Sunday, and they need to do that. Short to intermediate pass games. Whatever ideas you got, give me some ideas in the comments of what you think they should be doing on offense, what they could use to mix it up. But I'm just saying, short to intermediate, use the tight end room in general, and utilize some motions. Utilize that running game. Allow Jalen Ward to be the lead runner. Give him 20 carries this week. He's earned it. Let him see what he can do when he touches the football 15 to 20 times on the ground. Then you bring in a Najee Harris and let him continue to gnaw at them, continue to grind them down and weaken them. And then if you get that running backs room going really well and get them really churning up some yards, what's that do for you? It loosens the defense up because they're coming down to commit the run. Now you're using your wide receivers. You're not bringing them all out at once to where they know you're passing and they just go back and drop in their little zone or whatever, or play man-to-man. You're making them play that run honest. Bringing out a George Pickens and a Deontay Johnson and letting them just go. And throwing one deep if you're Kenny Pickett. Stretching that field out. Run George and Deontay both on big fly routes. Let them fly down the field like you're going to bomb it. And then what do? Hit Pat Freiermuth on a drag route coming across the field. Let him roll to Kenny's best side. Let Kenny go to that side, roll to that side, and dump one right to Pat. Something easy. Build confidence. That's all I'm saying. That's the Steelers' number one focus this week, and that's what it should be. Is focus on confidence. Building confidence and momentum as you really start to hit your stride here against teams that you're supposed to beat. It's what you got to do. It just amazes me. When the Steelers have momentum in a football game, and it was under Matt Canada, I would feel like they would resort back to things that are momentum killers. Diving it straight ahead, over and over and over again. It's good to just keep them honest and run a dive up the middle into the 2-hole or the 3-hole. That's good. Okay, you got to do that kind of stuff. But you don't do it over and over. You don't do it 3 times straight and then or 2 times in a row and then try to throw a 10-yard back shoulder or something. You're so predictable. Everyone knew where you were going. Everybody knew what you were going to do. Your plan was simple. And now if you're Eddie Faulkner, I think this week's got to be the week. And do I think the Steelers' offense is going to explode for a gazillion yards? I don't. But I do think that this offense is going to go for over 250 yards at least, which isn't a huge performance. I think they're going to be able to control the clock, utilize a lot of time of possession to their advantage, run the football. I think they're going to have 150 on the ground. I think it's going to be about 250 in the air. I think they're going to have a quality balance. I think they're going to score between 20 and 25 points, and that's going to be enough to win this football game. I think the Steelers come away with a win. We'll save my prediction for the score at the end, but I think, like I said, they're going to score 20 to 25 points like that in that area. And that's where we talked about at the beginning of the season is the Steelers' sweet spot. If you could average 24 points a game, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you are unbeatable. Honestly, you are like a championship caliber football team. If you could average that per game, you are now instantly, in my eyes, at least competing for the division title and at least going to make it a couple rounds in the playoffs. I mean, it's hands down. Guaranteed. And I'll say it right now, I guarantee that would happen. I'd bet anything on that. If the Steelers could start to average that. You got some teams that you're going to be able to beat. Some teams that have some issues. And you have to take advantage of this. This is where you wanted to be. You hit the stumbling block last week against Cleveland. I get it. That was a big momentum killer. Cleveland's defense was really damn good. I get it. Our defense played pretty damn good. They only let up 13 points. I know they had their issues, but again, they don't allow a mess of points. 13 points, nothing really, man. You should win that football game. If you'd have told me last Sunday before the Cleveland Browns game that the Steelers defense was going to hold to 13 points and only have 10 points through the first 58 minutes, I would have said the Steelers win that football game hands down 25 times out of 25 times. I really, really do. I would venture to say that with confidence. But, hey, when you can't score points, you can't move the ball, you refuse to utilize the players that are doing well in the football game. You go away from things that you're doing well. You try to be a little too cute. You don't try to get the ball out of Kenny's hands quickly on some quick slants, quick outs, quick ins. You're not doing the things that you have to do. And then you see the Cleveland Browns, they took your formula that you've used for winning these football games, and they used it against you. Good defense, getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly, and moving down the field and winning the game late. They took the formula right off you. They used the Steeler way and beat you, period. And you got to hand it to the Cleveland Browns. They beat you. They beat you at your own game. So, again, guys, if you have any comments about that offense and where it's going to go this Sunday and what you think they're going to do, put it in there. Also, I want your score predictions in the comments. Please put that in there. Let me know what you guys think the score is going to be this Sunday and give me maybe a little insight into how you think this game's going to unfold. I want to also talk about what the Steelers have been doing a little bit on defense. A banged up defense, a defense that's really reeling, looking for answers, especially at inside linebacker. And Landon Roberts is doing a great job, if you ask me, wearing the green dot. But they brought in Blake Martinez, a guy that's young, a guy that's had talent, a guy that could be able to produce and could get back on track. And I think that that's a quality addition, and I think you'll see him on the active roster sooner than later. They brought in a Miles Jack who appears to be healthy, good spirits, knows the system, familiar with Pittsburgh. I think that could end up being good. Miles Jack, before his injury last year, really was playing well for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Was he a superstar? Was he a world beater? Absolutely not. But he was playing really good football, and I like that addition, and I think it's a solid answer, a veteran answer, and an answer that the Pittsburgh Steelers needed to put out there, an answer that they had to come up with, and they did a great job, I think, by adding Blake Martinez, adding back Miles Jack, and just doing things that they have to do. But the Steelers, we'll see if they're missing Minka. I think they are. I didn't look at the injury report. It's been so discouraging because you're out James Pierre, Keanu Neal, all those guys, big name players that have been really hurting the Steelers secondary. And I really feel the Steelers, if they could get healthy here, take these few weeks, get through, get their wins that they need to get, the offense maybe pulling this defense through for a little bit and giving them a little bit of help and keeping them off the football field, utilizing the time of possession, and really helping the Steelers defense out. I think that the defense could get healthy at the right time. And that could be big for the Steelers because a lot of teams don't really have a healthy defense come playoff time. A lot of teams don't really have a healthy offense come playoff time. But if you're the Steelers, you can remain healthy on offense, as healthy as you can. Keep grinding, keep getting better, growing. And then you allow this defense to have a little bit of time to heal, a little bit of time to grow, and get back to that dominant way of playing Steeler defense. I think you could be hitting your stride at the right exact moment if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the stars are aligning for this team, if you ask me, guys. And I know a lot of people might get on me about that and say the Steelers are going nowhere, but I really feel like the stars are aligning for this football team. They have a setup for winnable games ahead of them. They have the Baltimore Ravens in the final week of the season, to where if they really set this thing up the right way, the cards continue to fall in their favor, and all they have to do, they don't have to worry about anything else. They just have to win football games, because the Ravens will end up losing a game or two here or there. It's just natural. I think it will happen. I think they will. They have a very tough schedule going down the road here. So I think the Ravens will end up losing a game or two. And if the Steelers just handle their business, focus on what they need to focus on, I think this team could really be set up in a big, big way. You could end up being 12-5, 13-4. You really could. It's so realistic. Look at that schedule, guys. Look at that schedule. Let me get my schedule out again. And I got it right here. I keep it right here for the pods. So, we are going to be facing this week the Cincinnati Bengals. And then you move right into the Cardinals and the Patriots. If you're the Steelers, this 3-game span right here, you could get serious momentum and come out of it 9-4. You could be 9-4 by the end of December 7th, before we're even into the middle of the month of December. And then you travel to Indianapolis in a game that hasn't even had the time announced yet. And you could go into that game and come out 10-4 and get that double-digit win total. That could be really, really big. Those games right there, that'd be 4 games. And then you head into a Cincinnati game. Joe Burrow's out for the year. Depending on this week and how you look, you might end up having another dominating performance against them. That should be another win. Oh, excuse me, guys. Let me pick that schedule up. Sorry, I dropped the schedule. But anyway, the Cincinnati Bengals again. Then a game that I don't like. A game that I think that'll get them to the 5th loss. That's the Seattle game. But we'll see. Geno Smith's a little bit banged up. I just don't like how they match up. I don't like how the Steelers travel sometimes way out west like that. It just gives me weird vibes. So that's the one game that I'm really looking at and circling on my calendar. That could be a setup game, especially if the Steelers reel off 4 wins in a row, bringing their record to 10-4, heading into Seattle. That could be big. And if the Steelers come out of that, wow. They could end up being 13-4, guys, if they beat Baltimore in the final week. I think the division could come down to that final game. And I'm going to call it right now. I think this is the season right now. Let me get real. Let me get my hat on here, my mind reading hat, my time machine here. Excuse me. And let me give my prediction. Since we're here, and I want to get it out there before everybody else starts just kind of going on the bandwagon if they start winning. I'm going to really give my prediction, and I want to see if it really comes true, because this is what I really think is going to happen. When I look at the schedule, I break it down, I think the Steelers are going to finish that 13-4. I really do. I really, really, really do. And the reason being is I think they're going to win this division. I think they're going to beat Baltimore in the final week. I think that's when they really come full circle and really hit their stride. I think the Steelers are going to win out the rest of the season. And the reason I say that is because I can see this team starting to come together. When you fired Matt Canada and you brought in Eddie and Mike to start being the offensive coordinators, and you really particularly promoted a guy with the, I don't know how to say it, a man like Eddie Faulkner, a man's man, a guy that's no bullshit, a guy that's legit, a guy that's all about winning and caring about his players and really diving into their lives and really immersing himself into being a quality coach for them. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers have a real chance to start hitting something special here. So I'm going to go out on a limb. This is my prediction. The Steelers win out the rest of the way here. And they finish 13-4 or 12-5. They might stumble in Seattle is the game that I think. So that's my only quirk in the whole thing. They may stumble in Seattle and finish 12-5, which might hurt them in the Baltimore game, and then Baltimore might not even need to play their guys. And they might win that just being out of whatever, because Baltimore don't need to try. But anyway, I think it's going to come down to those last 2 games, and the Steelers are going to either be 12-5, 13-4. But I do think the Steelers have a great chance of winning this division, and I think they do pull it out in Baltimore. When is that game? Oh, it's to be announced. Wow. Right after Christmas there, too. Heading into January. Oh, wow. It is in January, beginning part of January. But anyway, I think the Steelers win that division. AFC North champs. Sadly, I think they make it through the first couple rounds of the playoffs. And then I think they end up suffering a hard loss to one of these teams that can score a lot of points, like the Chiefs, like the Miami Dolphins. One of those types of teams that can put a lot of points on the board. Watch out if the Bills get in. They can score a lot of points. Jacksonville Jaguars can score a lot of points. The only way that I like the Steelers in a late playoff game is if they have a rematch with the Jacksonville Jaguars. If they are facing the AFC Championship game, I don't even know if it can happen. We'll see if it can by the end of the year. If the Steelers would face someone like the Jaguars in a rematch in like the AFC Championship game, I think the Steelers would come back and be able to get a win against them. And that's just because they've seen them before, and the Steelers typically play people better if they had seen them once in the year. But the Jaguars, they always have the Steelers number for some weird reason. But I like the Steelers if they would make it against them or somebody. I just don't like them against these real high-flying teams that can put up a ton of points. And I don't think the Steelers are built for that kind of a football game. I think they're built for more of a slow down, grind you out, come back late in the game type win. And that's the way I think they're going to have to do it. And I think Eddie Faulkner knows how to win. I think he understands his players and the dynamic that they're bringing to the game. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. I've just been rambling. Give me the rest of your season predictions. I want to know what they are. I gave you mine. I'm going to give you this week's score, and I think it's going to be pretty accurate. I like the Steelers to win 24-17. I know that's a lot of points. The Bengals may not score that many points, but I think it's going to be 24-17 or under. I don't think the Bengals can score more than 17. And I think the Steelers are going to come out with a solid performance, score 24 points, may even have a defensive score in there somewhere. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to come out, score at least 3 touchdowns on offense, move the ball in a way that they can control the clock, help out the struggling defensive with its injuries. And I think they come out with the win, moving up to 7-4, starting what is a big-time roll. A big-time momentum swing in their favor, and I think they travel down this road to battle for the AFC North title. All right, guys, we'll see how these weeks play out, and we'll see if I'm right or wrong. And some of you may think I'm right, some of you may think I'm wrong. Some of you may just hope that I'm right, because I hope that I'm right. But anyway, it's just what I see. So let me know what the rest of the way predictions are. Where you see this team ending up in the division, where you see them ending up if they make the playoffs, and what you like about them, what you don't like about them, and give me your predictions for this week's game, what you think the score is going to be. Again, we're going to do our live show after the game following the Cincinnati Bengals game. We'll just see how it all works out, and hopefully it'll be a little bit better live show this week because we want to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, guys. So let's start sharing the videos. Continue to like each video. That's important. That helps me get in the algorithm. We've been crushing it on our long-form content for a smaller channel like ours, the one that you and I have built, you guys and me. I feel like we get a lot of views on our longer form content. You know, we're reaching 1,000 views. We have a couple videos that are long form content with almost 5,000 views on them. Let's keep doing that. Keep growing our community, guys, because it's starting to get pretty big. It's starting to get fun. We're getting a lot of comments, a lot of good discussion. People aren't going at each other. It's like a decent environment. So, let's keep doing it, man. And I appreciate you guys so much. So share the shit out of this stuff, guys. Spread the word to your friends and continue to like the videos every time. And also, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Because we're just regular guys talking Steelers, talking regular sports in a realistic way without all the big box media interference. So if you like that kind of talk, you like to feel in a more at-home environment, this is the place for you. Mike Drop Sports. I'm Jason. Until next time, peace.